Now on to the next big question in terms of how much can I make working in IT? I get that question a lot. I've seen that question, quite often over the internet. And while as much as I want to say that it depends, and it really does to a degree, know these simple facts. First and foremost, and this comes from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, employment in the computer and information technology occupation is projected to grow by about 11% in the next 9 to 10 years. That's much faster than the average for all occupations. What does that mean? Well, it means that there are more jobs out there than there are of IT specialists and IT professionals. That's great news for you and I. And so how much can you make? Again, this will come down to your background, your education, your experience, and your connections like we just talked about. So let's define 3 roles here so that we can kind of categorize how much you can make. And we'll define these 3 roles at a really high level of somebody being a beginner, someone being experienced, or someone being a leader. By beginner, I mean somebody who is transitioning into the IT industry field, maybe with no IT experience, and maybe they have at least one IT certification, possibly an associate's degree, and they're looking to align their current skills with IT. Right? So this is just kind of your newbie person trying to crack into the IT industry. That's the beginner. The experienced person will be somebody who has about 1 to 5 years of IT experience. By now, they probably have a bachelor's degree, maybe at least another certification, and as a possible rule of thumb, they're probably mentoring someone else, like a beginner, for example. And then lastly, a leader. This is someone who's in a leadership role going beyond mentoring, but they are the person who others look for advice, estimates. They may be managing other IT professionals, and usually by now their education level is probably that of somebody with a master's degree in an IT field, as an example. And so this kind of person probably has multiple certifications as well, and so they have a good, strong mixture of skills, but they also were at one point someone who was a beginner, moved into more of an experience role, and then became a leader. So let's break this down. How much can a beginner make based on our loose definition here in IT? Well, again, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's somewhere between $35,000 and $77,000. Now that's a wide range. What are some example jobs of somebody who is a beginner? Well, it could be a help desk technician, could be a computer programmer, possibly a computer support specialist, an IT tester, or an IT intern. I have held all of those jobs at one point in my life and did well and moved on. But I didn't have all those skills initially. It just takes a lot of hard work to kind of grow your skill little by little through all the means and methods that we've mentioned earlier in the video regarding the 5 ways to grow yourself. Next up, the experienced professional. This is the IT professional who's been in the industry maybe 1 to 5 years. What can they make? Well, the range is somewhere between $77,000 and $110,000. And again, this is coming from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. What are some example jobs of somebody who is experienced? Again, this varies, but for the purposes of our discussion today, positions in that salary range could be software engineer, systems analyst, system administrator, possibly a cybersecurity analyst, a database administrator, and possibly a UX or UI designer, that'd be user experience, user interface designer, and many other positions that fall into an experienced type of professional. I've held many of these jobs as well over the years, and certainly grew my skills little by little based on where I started in the beginner phase of the various positions I held. So that's the experienced professional. What about the leader, right? This is somebody who's likely been in IT over 5 years, and they may be managing other people. So the range here is about $110,000 on up, right? On up just really depends on the industry, their actual skill level, how much responsibility they have. In some cases, there could be management bonuses, etc. So what are some example jobs of a leader in IT? Well, an architect is typically someone who's a leader, who's kind of already been through the beginner experience phases. Cybersecurity engineer as well. Data scientist, a really hot field at the moment. An IT manager, right? If you've got some good skills in management, this is perfect for you. Artificial intelligence developer, yet another skill to potentially have. And cloud engineer. Cloud's always growing, will always be there. So there you have your range of from beginner, experience to leader in the various job classifications that we've mentioned and the potential salary range of how much you can make in IT. Again, a lot of that really just depends on your own experience, and that data, again, was from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. But you can certainly do your own research out there and see what works for you, especially those of you who are coming from international markets, and what the salary range might be for you in your respective countries. As a reminder, like our videos, tell us what you think about them, subscribe and hit the bell button so that you get early alerts anytime we create a new video. Click the community link to join the IT Village and other IT professionals such as yourself, where you can get your questions answered. And be sure to click the free download of How Much Can I Make Working in IT.